I've just gotten back from what seems to be one of my best performances, or probably one of my favorite live hacking events with HackerOne. And I say this is one of my favorites, not because of the target or the location. I just think performance wise, this is probably one of my best performances at a live hacking event. And I'll talk about how I got to this point in a little bit. But overall, this was my chance to participate in a live hacking event that was more challenging because of the targets. And also, I was able to, I think I ended up being number 10 on the Zoom program and somewhere in the top 20 with only 2 valid and paid submissions, which totaled to about $80,000 in bounties. Before you all say this is a lot, I didn't make the entire $80,000. I'll explain that in a little bit, but the total bounty amounts came up to nearly $80,000 of bounties. If you're not familiar with the live hacking events are where HackerOne flies a group of hackers, typically the top hackers on the platform or the customer's leaderboard. So for Salesforce and Zoom in this case, they fly us out, put us in a hotel room, and they pay for all our expenses, and we get to hack on these amazing programs and have direct access to not only other hackers but also the customer's security team directly there, and be able to interact with the HackerOne team and their triage team as well. So it just makes the process a little bit faster. And honestly, with how high of an energy is in that room, it makes hacking more exciting, and everyone's finding cool vulnerabilities, everyone's collaborating, and just the energy and feeding off of that energy really helps find more vulnerabilities or more critical bugs as well. So with me saying that I felt like I was more successful at this event, I thought, what a better way than make a video to share that experience and my thought process and my experience with you guys through another YouTube video. So the first reason why I think that I was successful is because I kind of put myself out of my comfort zone. So instead of going after the typical recon and looking at these web apps, because let's be honest, some of these programs have been around for a while, and I think they just have done a bunch of live hacking events. And with so many web app hackers in the building, it just makes it harder to find these traditional web vulns. I kind of push myself to look for of the more challenging or more interesting asset. So with that said, me and these two legends right here, or maybe I'll put a photo right here, me, Alex Chapman, and Shmuel, we got to score the best bug for the desktop app on Zoom, and it all turned out to be that way because of the consistency and Shmuel being relentless that allowed us to get there. And I'll talk about all that in a little bit, but pushing myself out of my comfort zone meant looking at the desktop app and not going after the traditional web app vulnerabilities and really trying to learn something that I've never done. And web apps are fun, but just this whole desktop thing was way over my head and way over my comfort zone. And, it ended up paying out and paying off by doing so. But let's talk about the relentless thing. I originally had a report of some sort that wasn't worth a lot. It was maybe a low to a medium at the best. And then Shmuel ran into me in the lobby and was like, hey, what are you working on? Introduced himself. We became friends. And I told him I have this bug. I don't know what to do. And he's like, oh, we can escalate this. And for 16 hours straight, having somebody to collaborate with, including himself and Alex Chapman, after 16 hours of work, 2 full days of 8 to 9 hours of working and debugging this and going through it and fuzzing it, we're able to escalate it. So a big portion of this was also having the ability to collaborate and also just bounce off ideas with somebody else like Shmuel, who is actually better at hacking desktop apps than I am. And then obviously having Alex, that was really helpful. But it's just the fact that you have these collaborations and having access directly to people, which is less awkward to walk up to them and say, hey, can you help me, versus sending him a Twitter DM or a Slack message or a Discord message. So the point of this is collaboration. I've always said this, collaborating with other hackers is a great place to find these valid vulnerabilities. The other thing is also that talked about the energy of being at these events. It's insane because going to this event, there is a little bit of pressure of I want to do good, not because I also want to perform well, but you also have this pressure of I want to be able to get my name on the leaderboard, and also I want to be able to get invited to the next event. So putting that mindset on myself and saying, besides the pressure, is just telling myself, hey, instead of going and mass reporting vulnerabilities or look for low hanging fruits or look for the regular things that I do, why don't I try something new and try to find impactful bugs that leads up to getting me the most criticality level of the bounty. And I know I mentioned 80,000 earlier, and I know a lot of you guys are gonna be like, well, how did you not make 80,000? Why wasn't 80,000? Well, there's a couple of things. One is collaboration. So, you collaborate with people and you got to split the bounties, but also there is a dupe window at these events. So that means that if me and one of you guys that's at this event, we report the same vulnerability, if that bounty is, let's say, $30,000, it's going to get split between you and me both. So it's going to be 15 and 15. And if I have people that are on that report as collaborators, then the two of us are going to split that bounty amongst ourselves. So my total payout wasn't $80,000. It was a good portion of it, maybe a little bit less than half, but it was very cool to be able to sit in a room hacking solo and then having access to 60, 70 awesome, amazing hackers that were also there that could help me escalate this. And also I had to mention Ali was also there. He was also someone that I collaborated with on this best bug. I think it's fair to also shout him out and give him credit for it as well. So I'm making this video not just because I want to be like, hey, good job, or like brag about how good I did at this event, but I also want to talk about the collaboration piece and also give you some uncut and raw advice of what to do when you're in this position. Because a lot of times I get asked, hey, if there's a bug bounty program that's been around for years, is it worth looking at? And honestly, Zoom and Salesforce are a really good example of that, because both of these have been around for a while. You've seen them do events before. Zoom's been doing these for a while, and then Salesforce as well. And I think these events are a good proof to say, look, even though these two programs have been around for a long time, even though these top hackers have looked at it in the past, or they're still looking at these events, there was still $1.3 or $1.4 million in bounties paid that were in line with what they pay on the regular programs as well. So it's not like they increase a lot of the bounty payouts. It's just more of the people were looking at them because there is an event going on. So my point is, just because these programs have been around, it doesn't mean that you cannot find vulnerabilities within them. And these live hacking events are a great example, because sometimes the scopes are the same, or sometimes these assets have been already tested that are included in the scope of the event, but people seem to still find vulnerabilities within them because they're coming from a fresh set of eyes that have never looked at this, or they find things that other people have overlooked. So there's always a good chance to do this as well. And honestly, with this event specifically, there was a lot of new hackers I've never seen at these live hacking events. Some of you know I've worked at HackerOne for years, so a lot of the faces that I see, I've seen them at previous events. But with this one specifically, there was 10, 15, 20 hackers, I want to say, that I'd never seen before, that I got to meet, that were new. And I've also never looked at these programs, that ended up finding some really amazing vulnerabilities and also be on the leaderboard as well. So if you're watching this and you're just new to bug bounties and you go, well, X, Y, and Z company has been here forever, I'm not going to find anything. This is a prime example and a good example of it. So there are still vulnerabilities to be found on these programs, regardless of when they have launched. And to be honest, I kind of regret not vlogging this entire process and not doing a vlog of me going to this event. But let me know, do you guys want to see vlogs of me going to this event and hanging out with the hackers and bringing you on the action? Do you want to see more of those vlogs? Drop me a comment. Let me know. Also, let me know, do you want to hear more about the thought process of looking at an application that's been around for years and how I approach it and so on? So drop me a comment. Let me know what you think. Let me know if you want me to make vlogs of the travel, and also if you want me to make content detailing how I approached a company like Zoom that's been around forever. All right, that's it. If you haven't already, hit that subscribe button. I'll see you all next week on Monday in our next video. Peace.